All right. And Sega Genesis Mini. We first talked about the announcement of the 10 games. We skipped games 11 through 20, but now 21 through 30 have been announced here about what's coming on board. So they announced 10 games. There's 30 total, 40 going to be on the system. So the 10 more they added, I'll count down. Wonder Boy and Monster World.
Yeah,
that seemed like one. Vector Man, that's a fun one.
Yep.
Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball, never played it. Phantasy Star 4, The End of the Millennial. Well, all those millennials, I think I'd be technically be a
Millennium.
Oh, not millennial. Oh, The End of the Millennial would have been a better game. Golden Axe, I love Golden Axe. God, I love Golden Axe. Why isn't there a modern Golden Axe? Beyond Oasis, know nothing about it.
That's good. It's a top-down Zelda-like game.
Okay. Action adventure. Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. You know I love my Alex Kidd. I don't. Ghouls and Ghosts. That's a good one. Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition, even though it's just Champion Edition, but they call it Special. And then the big one people were talking about was Mega Man: The Wily Wars, since it was never brought over to North America.
Yep.
So Ian, what now you see 30 to 40? Is this coming together like a good solid list to you?
Yeah, actually, I think the list looks fantastic. I think Sega's really nailing it on the selection. Certainly better than Sony did with the PlayStation Mini. And I feel like if you were a Sega fan growing up, this is hitting a nice chunk of, I think, stuff that is nostalgic that people remember playing and definitely want to play, and stuff that maybe they haven't played but is still very good. For instance, Wily Wars, we've never had that over here in the U.S., so that's going to be...
And that goes for... how much is that? I'm going to look that up, how much that goes for.
I don't know. You can get repros, but yeah, to actually get a European copy, I'm not certain. So that's a big one. But also, like, Wonder Boy and Monster World is a great game, and that one's a cult favorite. Phantasy Star 4 End of the Millennium is really, really long, and that game generally goes for about 100 now, complete. So they're definitely putting some value on this system. Castle of Illusion and World of Illusion, the two Disney Mickey Mouse games. That's a great addition. And Contra Hardcore's on there.
Oh yeah, we talked about that the first time.
Contra Hardcore's on there. Castlevania Bloodlines is on there. This is a really, really nice looking list of games.
There's so many counterfeit Wily Wars on eBay. It's insane. I'm trying to find a real one to see the price.
Yeah, it's probably gonna mostly be...
I gotta put in what, authentic?
Did you do Wily Wars Mega Drive? Because that's what it would be.
Yeah, but I just put in Wily Wars. I'm gonna put in authentic to see if that gets me some here. Buy it now, $390 complete. This one is only $50, but it looks like it's a fake. It's like a hard to find game.
Yeah,
there's tons of counterfeits.
Yep.
So this is going to be, this is $80, right?
Yeah.
So the same price as the Super Nintendo Classic, comes with the 2 3-button controllers. They announced the 6-button controller for $20. What I don't like is that in order to play Street Fighter 2, you need a 6-button controller to play it. And I think they should have threw a 6-button in there. I think they should have. Or bundled it with maybe 1 3-button, 1 6-button, something. $20, I think, it's not unreasonable, but
that's the generic. I mean, that's the generic controller price I see thrown around a lot. I think actually they're, and I could be wrong, I think they're using the Genesis, the Retrobit Genesis controllers, because those are official.
They're just going to do that, might as well.
I think that might be what they do. I could be wrong, but I know they did a USB one.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, exactly.
Just branded Sega Genesis and look exactly the same. Same casting or whatever. So the good news is that looking at the list, though, unless they add any other fighters to this, I don't think there's any other game you need 6 buttons for. Unless I'm incorrect here.
Let me take a look.
You're more of a Genesis guy than me. I don't think there's at this point, but if they add Eternal Champions.
Eternal Champions can use 6, yeah. So
it's hell to play these games hitting the start button to swap out. It's just hell to swap punches and kicks. It's not, they're unplayable doing that. They just are. You can't do combos. You can't react quicker. You got to twist your fingers around to do it. No,
in all honesty, it looks like Street Fighter is the only one so far that would need 6 buttons.
Okay. I actually prefer the feel. I think I don't like how big and clunky the original Genesis controls are. I don't like how they're laid out. I prefer the 6-button one myself. But this is coming together nicely though. This is a nice list.
Yeah.
This is a nice list. I'm not you're a Sega hater. I think this is a nice list of games.
Yeah,
this is a quality list.
It's a really, really well picked list. I mean, there's games in here that I don't like or wouldn't play, but even those.
Is there any? I'm gonna ask you. Is there any filler on here? You know, is like Mean Bean Machine? Is that a filler title?
Mean Bean Machine is Puyo Puyo, so people do love that. Okay. But I always consider it a filler title because no one really thinks about it, and there's tons of other ways you can play Puyo Puyo. So Mean Bean Machine is fun. I'd say that is kind of the most fillerish of them.
No sports games. I know they have to get licenses to like Tommy Lasorda or Pat Riley, but I'm surprised there's no, or Montana, I guess. They can always come out with it just saying like Sega football and take Montana's name off it. They probably could do that if they wanted to, right? Alter the ROM a little bit? No? If they don't want to do the work? No sports games. I'm surprised not to see Columns on here. I know people don't talk about Columns ever. That was an early, somewhat important puzzle title.
I'd rather have Mean Bean Machine than Columns.
I'm just saying I'm surprised not to see it.
But I'm
for
saying,
the heritage of the Sega Genesis, it's pretty important.
It's true. I mean, we got 10 more games to be announced, right?
Yeah, I'm just not shocked, but being that the Genesis made its bones early on arcade ports and largely sports titles, I'm kind of surprised that, you know, if you don't have a Montana football or an NHL game on here, that would be shocking to me. But then there's licenses involved. I understand that.
Yeah, I feel like NHL 94 would be a pretty easy pick, but licensing. I'm
just thinking about, obviously, a lot of people out there don't like sports games. Think about the number of people that had the Genesis that love sports games. They sold like hotcakes, the NHL games, the Montana games. They're very common Genesis games. Mm-hmm. And not to have those on here represented all, I think to me is just weird. Because even on the NES Classic, they'll throw something at you. You know, they'll throw a racing game at you. They'll throw a, you know, a sports game at you, right? NES, what did NES Classic have for sports? They had sports, right? They had Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, and ice hockey, I believe.
No ice hockey.
Oh, okay. Tecmo Bowl. There was one other sports game. I think regular tennis.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They threw a sports game that was popular. So Tecmo Bowl is to NES what NHL is to Genesis. Like those were like the two of the biggest sports games on each, respectively. Not to have those, I think, would be not a black eye, but it wouldn't have fulfilled the potential of this system to me. I still think it's a great list of games. Not being familiar with like 5 or 6 of these at all.
I think we'll get a sports game or two added in the next 10. Well, maybe not a sport. I'm surprised Super Monaco's not on here.
Really?
Yeah, Super Monaco or OutRun.
OutRun.
I'm just surprised that they haven't put
OutRun
a port of either.
OutRun,
any racing.
Well, OutRun wasn't a huge seller.
No, Genesis, not on the Genesis. But I'm sorry, like Outrunners or OutRun, whatever the future one is.
Okay.
But yeah, and I think we'll probably see another fighting game. I have a feeling we'll probably see Mortal Kombat 1 or something like that.
No Buster Douglas boxing.
No,
come on, he was no Moonwalker.
Nope.
No moon. Like I'm talking about, these are like the old school Genesis games that helped define the system early on. These are like the black box games of the Genesis. Moonwalker, Buster Douglas, you know, Tommy Lasorda, Joe Montana. Like those are the games that the Genesis does era, the first year or so, that before Sonic came out. The 89, you know, the 89 era, the 89 to early 90 era, or 90 era. Sonic was early 91. So, all right.
Yes, he was.
Anything else to add?
No.
Okay, moving on.